Look Good. Number 808, Juicy Instrumental. Number 85, Dino Mike. And number 090, Phone Bomb. First one is going to start. For the foot, we have number 22, Bad Road. Number 909, Moa Poa. Number 1, Flesh McQueen. Number 11, Mandale. Number 171, Panic Attack. Number 3, Bada Bay. Number 002, Barbecue. And 5 seconds. Number 448, Fresh Tagada. Number 559, Helter Skelter. We have number 666, Fat and Furious. Number 727, MB Violence. And Rotterdam is out of the pack first. Being followed quickly by the Jammer of the Foot. First Jam is being followed.
All right, everyone on the live stream, welcome back. Welcome back. We just started with the C-Gulls against La Flotte. Started off with a fast jam, and the first jam is already over with less than a minute on the clock. Today, as your announcement crew, it will be me, Half Evil, and my colleague is just standing away, who will be here anytime soon.
We're going up to jam number 3 with the score being 7-0 for the C-Gulls. Jam is coming up. And the jam is on. We have toast for C-Gulls jamming and fresh Tagada. And Tagada is out of the pack first, grabbing that lead status, while Toast is still working on getting out of the pack. And a jammer penalty for Toast has been issued, making Toast go to the penalty box, giving La Flotte a power jam. In the second corner, La Flotte on the scoring pass, making it through, giving the first 4 points on the board by Tagada. Coming up for the second round, being hit in the ass for badass, doing her derby name justice. Tagada is still working on getting past the blockers, going for the inside, not making it quite, going up another time, trying to get past on the outside. In the meantime, Toast has been got out of the penalty box and coming up for going to get through the blockers for La Flotte. There is an penalty issued. I'm not sure exactly which player is one of the blockers for La Flotte that has gotten a penalty. Toast has been recycled, gets back in to go for another try to go past. In the meantime, Tagada has done another scoring pass, getting another 4 points on the board, making the total 8 points to 7 for now, and making this a lead change. Tagada is working on the second corner on the inside, going towards, and there was a swap for trying to pass the star from Toast to Dino Mike. Unfortunately, the time was up and the jam was called by the referees. For our next round, we have Wasabi jamming for the C-Gulls, and we have Bada Bay as a jammer up for La Flotte. being hot on the tail of the jammer for La Flotte. And Wasabi scored 4 points. And there is a penalty called on La Flotte's jammer and hence being sent to the penalty box while Wasabi is on the second scoring pass, making it through, racking up another 4 points. And with this, there is a change in the lead again. Wasabi easily gets through with the help of her blockers. And is going up for a 4th scoring pass, which comes to an end because the 2 minutes are up for this jam, giving a total of 12 points for the C-Gulls and 4 points awarded for La Flotte. For the upcoming jam, I am not sure yet which jammers are fielded. Our vision here is not that great. Upstairs you can maybe see better.
I see Foxy Deezer, number 03.
Yes, it's 03. Foxy Dizer for C-Gulls. Going up against, oh, and there she is out. Grabbing that lead status, which we love here at Roller Derby, while La Flotte's jammer is still busy trying to get through that pack.
Barabe has just been released from the penalty box, so we have now both jammers back on track.
In the
C-Gulls,
meantime, Foxy Dizer has had the first 4 points on the board, while Barabe is still working on getting through that pack. Barabe is looking for that opening to trying to get relief, and a star pass has been done, making the pivot for La Flotte, the new jammer, and it's NB Violent that crashes through that wall and goes after for scoring points, which is tactically called off by the C-Gulls jammer, making this a 12-0 point jam in favor of the C-Gulls. Yeah.
And now lining up, we have number 5. Let's see it for La Flotte. Can't quite see the names. 559. It's Helter Skater.
Yeah.
And Helter Skater is facing off against Rebecca van Gorgon. Rebecca van Gorgon. Both skaters trying to get, both jammers trying to get through the pack, but the C-Gulls managing to get out of the pack, picking up lead jammer status. Lead jammer status for Rebecca van Gorgon. And going around for the first scoring pass. They're not making it too easy. In the meantime, the Helter Skelter is out of the pack. Going around, but the C-Gulls are not having it. Rebecca is calling off the jam, preventing La Flotte from scoring any points. And in the meantime, picking up 4 points, making it 35 versus 15.
We have toes again. On the jammer line for the C-Gulls, facing off against Fresh Tagada. Waiting for the 5 seconds to end, and here they go. I can see that Toes is on the outside trying to make it through, while Fresh Tagada sneakily passes on the inside and getting that lead status for La Flotte. Toes fighting it out, getting through as well, while Tagada is on that scoring pass, being recycled to the back by one of the blockers from the C-Gulls, and the jam is being called off before Toes gets the chance to try and rack up some points. 0 points for the C-Gulls this round, and 2 points scored for La Flotte.
making the score 35-17.
And we have Wasabi. Wasabi lining up against MB Violent. Wasabi MB versus MB Violent. And we are off. We have both jammers trying to punch through, but the lead is taken by the C-Gulls. Wasabi taking lead jammer status, closely followed by MB Violent. Wasabi quickly going around, looking for where the room is, where the space is, picking up as much points as possible, and immediately calling it off to prevent the Flotte from scoring points. The tactical call-off.
For the upcoming jam, we have Foxy Dicer facing off against Helter Skelter as jammers. And the jam is on. I can see that Foxy takes on the outside, gets through. However, Helter Skelter is right behind and making it hard and pouring pressure on this jam. So let's see what happens. Foxy gets through on that inside, spotting that opening and scoring 1 point and calling it off quickly and preventing La Flotte to score any points this round.
With an empty penalty box at the moment, we have Rebecca van Gorgon, and Rebecca van Gorgon is facing off Fresh Takara. And immediately trying to get through the inside. We see Rebecca van Gordon trying to get through, stuck behind some nice through walls. It is a bit of a bit chaotic on track. With both teams struggling to have sturdy lines, and you have La Flotte taking advantage of this by taking lead jammer status. Going past the inside and quickly calling off, picking up. Let's see how many points.
No
points. Unfortunately, not able to take home points for this jam.
It looked very good though. You could see them really fight for it, and there was a very sneaky cutting through that pack by La Flotte and gaining that lead status that they love so much. Another jam is on. It's Toes facing off against Balabé. A penalty has been issued for direction to one of La Flotte's blockers, number 666, Fat and Furious. So they have to serve their penalty. In the meantime, the jammers are still fighting it out. However, I see that the jammer for La Flotte has been recycled to the back, and Toes has picked up the lead for this jam. For now, Barabé seems to be stuck behind the wall that the C-Gulls are forming, which seems very sturdy. There is a penalty issued for number 85, Dynamite, and they have to go to the penalty box to serve their time. In the meantime, Toes has picked up 4 points, is working on trying to get past the blockers of La Flotte, being down by Fat and Furious. However, while down, Fat and Furious gets another penalty, and Toes works for it, gets out of that pack again, and takes up 4 points and calling off the jam, giving the C-Gulls 8 points to 0 points for this jam, making the score 47-17. So we have a 30-point difference for right now.
And we have Wasabi lining up, and Wasabi will be facing off MB Violent. And with one blocker for both teams in the box, it's going to be 3 blockers versus 3 blockers. a quick lead taken by MB Violent, taking advantage of one blocker less being on track, and we have a power jam situation with Wasabi being sent to the penalty box. So we have to see if MB Violent can take full advantage, trying to get past on the inside, looking where the space is, and managing to go through the center and picking up 4 points. With Wasabi still in the penalty box.
There is an opening for some offense, which they pull off successfully.
Yes. I see some successful offense from La Flotte. With now Wasabi being out of the penalty box.
Very nice move on the inside of La Flotte's jammer by doing a 360 with 2 steps, getting out of the pack again, going for another scoring pass.
And with Wasabi out of the pack, going around, La Flotte quickly calls it off, preventing Wasabi from scoring any points.
However,
with 16 extra points on the board, which is I think the largest score for this game so far.
This is definitely the largest scoring jam for this game so far. So La Flotte really did well to make use of their power jam and get back some points and make that score gap smaller. In the upcoming jam is Foxy Dicer facing off against Helter Skelter, and Helter Skelter sees that opening on that inside and just went for it, picking up lead status, while Foxy Dicer is still stuck in the pack at that first turn, trying to do a style pass, faking it out, getting through, and trying to go for some points, and now some jammer on jammer action, forcing La Flotte to call it off. However, La Flotte has managed to score 4 points in the meantime, closing that gap again of that point difference to 47 points to 37 points, making it a 10-point difference.
Now we have Rebecca van Gorgon facing off Fresh Tagara. The pack rolling on the jammers just before jam starts, and immediately we have Fresh Tagara being hit out of bounds and being recycled to the back, with Rebecca van Gordon taking advantage of this, picking up lead jammer status and going for the first scoring pass. A nice move through the inside, picking up 4 points, with the La Flotte jammer still in the pack.
And the La Flotte jammer cannot do a star pass because their pivot has been sent to the penalty box around the time that Rebecca was getting that lead status.
Yes, and immediately we have another 4 points picked up by Rebecca. And in the meantime, the La Flotte jammer is still stuck behind the C-Gulls wall. Now coming past the outside and now also out, going for the first scoring pass, but the C-Gulls will prevent that because they are calling off the jam, having picked up 12 points. Which is a nice achievement.
We have Wasabi as a jammer for the C-Gulls again, facing off against MB Violent. And we're waiting for that 5 seconds to come and the jam to start. Here they go. And the jam is on, and Wasabi is fighting, going straight into that pack. I see La Flotte's jammer going on the outside, going through the middle, and then pushing away those jammer for the C-Gulls, picking up that lead status. MB Violent is now on the scoring pass, while Wasabi is still working to get out of the pack, which is successful at the second turn. MB has already scored the 4 points. The jam is not being called off just yet, and it has been called, making 4 points for La Flotte and 0 for the C-Gulls this jam.
as we are waiting for the teams to line up. We do see no players from the C-Gulls on track yet. That's because they decided to take a team timeout and also to extend the team timeout just with those extra seconds. You can choose to wait for the team timeout until 5 seconds, and then you have your 1 minute team timeout plus the 25 seconds in front. So while we're in this team timeout, yes, give us a shout. And
there's some cheering going on.
Some cheering going on.
And
since we're cheering for La Flotte, this is a nice moment to especially cheer for Barbecue. Barbecue, it's actually Barbecue's birthday. I think it was yesterday. It was today or yesterday.
It's a good weekend.
It's like having a tournament on the weekend of your birthday is that makes it a special birthday. So congratulations.
And it's also the second weekend for Barbecue playing, as well as Bada Bay, Flash McQueen, and Mawa Pawa. They have been doing roller derby not so long, and they just got their cherries popped, and they're doing more games for the third time this weekend.
In the meantime, we have Toos facing off against Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter picking up lead.
Helter Skelter picking up lead, closely followed by Toos, which actually has a really nice number, 040, because that's the area code for Eindhoven. And a quick call off for Helter Skelter. And we have no points scored for this jam.
Making the score 59-41, still in favor of the C-Gulls. However, the gap between the points is still relatively small, and they've been keeping up at having it relatively small. For this jam, it's Foxy Dicer facing off against Tagada, and it's Foxy Dicer that comes out of the first curve, picks up that lead status, while Flex Tagada is working on getting through those blockers from the C-Gulls. There's a very strong frame going for the teams. However, there was a no-pack scenario, which meant this was the opportunity for Fresh Tagada to make it out of that pack, but it's being forced out by the C-Gulls with 4 points for the C-Gulls and 0 for La Flotte.
And with 2 blockers in the penalty box for the C-Gulls, the C-Gulls will start up with only 2 blockers on track. So La Flotte will try to take full advantage of this. Lining up for La Flotte is Andy Violent, and Andy Violent will be facing off Rebecca Van Gordon. Andy Violent taking advantage of only having 2 blockers and picking up a quick lead jammer status. In the meantime, we have also the La Flotte pivot sent to the penalty box. But with 3 blockers, they are still able to keep Rebecca behind them until now, who's just exited the pack, closely followed by Ambi Violent. Ambi Violent looking at the situation, seeing that there are no points to be scored here, and calling off the jam. Picking up a nice 4 points against 0 for the C-Gulls.
For the upcoming jam, it's Wasabi facing off against Helter Skelter. If you listen closely, you can sometimes hear the coaches yell advice to their teams. The jam is on, and Helter Skelter sees that opening on the outside, went for it, while Wasabi is being recycled to the back of the pack and having to try again to get through to get that initial round. Helter Skelter is working on getting the first points on the board for La Flotte, Well, Wasabi made it out for going for that scoring pass. Unfortunately, Helter Skelter has gotten in the penalty and is being sent to the box, giving the Seagulls and Wasabi a power jam and the opportunity to score points. One of the blockers for the Seagulls, number 42, Fruitcake, is being sent to the box for doing a back block. Wasabi made the round and is going for a scoring pass, fighting for getting through, being pushed out by number 666, Fat and Furious. And the jam is being called off by the referees.
We have a call off due to injury, which is never a good thing.
So we're going to take this opportunity to tell you a little facts about La Flotte. It's the B team for Brussels, and the name apparently means something along the lines of rain shower, while La Drache, the A team for Brussels, has a meaning for rainstorm. So they have a rain theme going on. And there are two players for La Flotte that are playing this weekend on the A team as well for their very first time. So we're going to give them a shout out, number 11 Mandale and number 727 and Be Violent. The C team, the C-Gulls, is the third team for Rotterdam Roller Derby, which is a big growing league here in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, they have two players that are not here today, so we're going to give them a shout out as well, which is number 010 Fluff and number 021 Rio Riot. For Brussels, there is also a player missing, which is number 44 Buttercup. So we're giving a shout out to that player as well. In the meantime, Wasabi has gotten back up, is being supported, and a well-deserved round of applause for being okay for now and being escorted off the track by one of our medics. So a shout out to our medic crew, which is unfortunately necessary, but we're very happy to have them and make sure that all the players that do have a little stumble or something else that happens to them be taken care of.
And with all the referees lining up, we will soon go back to the next jam. We don't see any skaters lining up yet. And with the rolling whistle, that means we are 30 seconds away from the next jam. For our next jam, Ambi Violent, since Ambi Violent was still in the penalty box when the jam got called, Ambi Violent will start from the penalty box. So we will start off with a power jam start. Ambi Violent will be facing off 040 Toos.
Ambi Violent with almost zero time left in the penalty box runs into that track and gains lead status before Toos can blink her eyes.
And Toos being sent to the penalty box. So we have a change of power jam. Ambi Violent taking full advantage of this situation, picking up 4 points. Picking up 4 points, smashing through those walls, and
we have
racking
some
up the scores.
here technical difficulties. Unfortunately, one of the players of Rotterdam, Gold Hornet, number 50, truck seems to have broken and lost her front wheels.
And as you might imagine, having 4 wheels underneath each skate is quite necessary. So we have the C-Gulls unfortunately being one player down, with Ambi Violent
Racking up those points.
And with the jam being called, Ambi Violent has picked up 16 points.
upcoming jam, I see a wall of zebras in front of me right now. They're looking at the jam start. I can see that there's 2 lemons lined up. It's Foxy Dicer finishing off Fresh Tagada. Fresh Tagada spotting an opening on that outside, making a run for it and grabbing lead status, but not without Foxy Dicer being hot on their tail. Points are being tried to score. It's a full run for La Flotte for 4 points, but not without Foxy Dicer sneaking in 1 point for the C-Gulls, making the score 72 to 67 points.
La Flotte slowly creeping up score-wise on the C-Gulls, with the score difference at this point only being 5 points. And we have an official review being used as a team timeout. La Flotte, since we are almost at the end of this half, La Flotte is choosing to use their official review as a team timeout, which they are allowed, and that means that they will lose their official review, but they will start off the next half back with that official review and still having all 3 team timeouts in place. So it is a tactical decision. If you think you do not need it in this half, you can use it as an extra timeout.
And there's just 2 minutes and 2 seconds left on the period clock for before we go into the intermission, which we also call halftime. The timeout has come to an end, and the teams are going to go back onto the track and lining up for La Flotte. We have Helter Skelter, I think. No, it's Ambivalent. Ambivalent is the jammer for the upcoming jam and facing off against Rebecca from Brussel. Jam is on. Rebecca was trying to look at the jammer and see if they could get a little bit of confusion going there. It did not work. Both are being stuck behind the respective walls of the opponents. Recycling is happening, and Ambivalent has spotted an opening, did a small jump to get past. However, Rebecca from Gorgon is close behind, trying to get those points as well. And very tactically, the decision is made to try and score a few points while getting sure that there are no points scored for the opposing team, which means that La Flotte scored 3 points, 0 points to the C-Gulls, getting that score very, very close just before our intermission for 72 against 70.
And we have Fresh Tagada facing off Toes. Fresh Tagada seeing the room on the inside, quickly peeping through and picking up lead jammer status, a really fast lead jammer status, which is really important with a score difference of only 2 points at this moment. With Toes being stuck behind the 2 wall in front. Unfortunately, we have Fat Furence being sent to the penalty box, so Toes is still, with help of the La Flotte teammates, has still held back. In the meantime, we have Fresh Tagada finishing off, has finished off 1 scoring pass, already picked up 4 points, and going for a second scoring pass, being knocked down on the inside
by number 7, by Luna Blokkeut.
Yes.
And Toes is coming up for their scoring pass, getting through, gaining up 4 points. However, La Flotte was managing to get 3 more points on the second scoring pass, getting that change in lead to La Flotte being in lead with a 1 point score difference.
Which is a really tight margin to go into into halftime. Both teams will definitely use that time to take a rest, to get our cool back, and
Is er iets bij de intermission?
for the next half to show some more awesome roller derby.
During this intermission, we have a thing called Chuck a Duck. So for people who do not know, you are able to buy a little rubber ducky, and you are going to go toss it at a specific point in our in our.
to slow down time. I'm up in the woods. I'm down on my mind. I'm building a still to slow down time. I'm up in the woods. I'm
We're going back to the game. We also have a live stream, and apparently we forgot to press the button, but with a little assistance, the live stream should be able to hear us now as well. Intermission is closing, and the teams did their bench swap, which is a thing that we always do in roller derby, so there is no specific advantage from whichever bench you start in the first half going towards the second half of the game. It is a close game, and we are very excited to see what will be happening in the second half of the C-Gulls versus La Flotte.
With only a single point difference, it's going to be an interesting second half.
The teams are getting up on the track, and I can see that Gold Honda number 50 has gotten skates back on their feet, which is good, so they can join the game again after a sort of fallout with their own skates. I think the track broke off, so very happy to have them join again. 5 seconds to the start of this jam, and we have Foxy Diver and Dizer going off against NB Violent, being Foxy to make it out of that pack as the first jammer, going for that scoring pass, while NB Violent is being violently treated by the blockers from the C-Gulls, getting hard hits and being forced to the floor twice. Now right behind Foxy Dizer, hitting Foxy Dizer out of the track. Some jammer on jammer action, and Foxy Dizer calls it off after scoring 4 points, giving lead back again to the C-Gulls.
And next we have lining up Rebecca van Gorgen. And Rebecca will be facing off Fresta Gara. Fresta Gara trying to get on the inside, while on the outside Rebecca van Gordon is peeping through and picking up lead jammer status. Lead jammer status for the C-Gulls, and going for the first scoring pass. And in the meantime, we have one of the C-Gulls being sent to the penalty box, while Rebecca exits the pack, picking up 4 points with Frestegara also coming out of the pack, struggling with those last blockers, but being able to exit. And Rebecca, having eyes on the opposing jammer, decides to call it off, preventing the La Flotte from picking up any points, and in the meantime picking up 8 points for the C-Gulls.
Making the point difference 11 points, 88 for the C-Gulls and 77 for La Flotte. I saw some very nice blocker action by number 90 Van Dam, forcing out the jammer just now twice, making it hard on La Flotte to actually get past. The new jam has started. It's Toes facing off against Helter Skelter, where Helter Skelter is being recycled back towards the back and getting stuck behind the jammer, behind the pivot of the Sea-Gulls, while Toes is still struggling in the front of the pack to get past Fat and Furious and Bridge van de Kamp. Also being forced back to recycle, and no lead has been grabbed just yet. The Germans are really having to work for this one. There are some strong, sturdy walls going on with some good blocking, and I can see that Helter Skelter found their way out of the pack and grabbed that lead status, while Toes is still working on getting past the blockers from La Flotte, getting stuck. Jammer is trying to score points, getting through. Helter Skelter picks up those points, while Toes is still on the initial pass, going for taking off their jam cover, for going to potentially do a star pass to the pivot of the Sea-Gulls, number 85 Dino Mike. And the star pass has been done, getting Dynamite ready to go for a scoring pass, which is being called off by La Flotte after scoring 8 points in total, and again closing that point difference gap by La Flotte with only 3 points to go.
And for the next jam, we have Flash McGowan. The first time, I think Flash McGowan is the first time we've seen Flash McGowan starting off as a jammer and facing off Foxy Deezer. Foxy Deezer managed to pass through the pack, picking up the lead jammer status, lead jammer for the Sea-Gulls. And on the scoring pass, punching through the pack actually, and successfully with 4 points picked up, and the La Flotte jammer passing this star to number 11 Mandalay. But the Sea-Gull jammer, seeing the situation and quickly calling it off, preventing La Flotte from picking up any points. With in total 8 points for the Sea-Gulls in this jam.
For the upcoming jam, we have Rebecca van Gorgon facing off against, let me see, Fresh Tagada. The jam is on. Fresh Tagada is on more of the inside, tumbling down, while Rebecca stumbles on the front of the pack in that first corner, getting a hard time by number 3-3, Mellow Disco. Breaking through after that fight, it's Rebecca van Gorgon picking up that lead status. Fresh Tagada is hit out, loses the jam jammer penalty, drops it on the floor, has to pick it up again and try again for getting through that pack, while Rebecca on the outside tiptoes away for 4 points, hitting that 100-point marker for the C-Gulls. Frestegada is still struggling on that second turn of the track, trying to get through, while Rebecca is going for the second scoring pass. The roll is being...
Helmet cover, geen penalty.
Yeah. Rebecca again through the pack, while the float is still struggling to get out and get to go to for scoring points. Dino Mike is giving a hard time to the jammer, being in front and single-handedly trying to force them out on multiple occasions. However, Frestegada spots an opening, gets past, and is on the way for scoring some points. Rebecca is, in the meantime, in the third corner, being pushed to the side by Fat and Furious and being recycled back by the pivot of La Flotte number 33 Mellow Disco, having to call off the jam.
And for the next jam we have MB Violent jamming, and MB Violent will be jamming against Toos.
Ik raak helemaal van boven naar beneden schreeuwen. Ja, leuk dat ik het fout zeg, maar...
And we have a quick lead, quickly picked up by MB Violent straight from the line. A lead jammer status which La Flotte really wants at this moment. Closely followed by Toos, who is also out of the pack. MB Violent quickly calling off this jam, picking up 4 points and preventing Toos from picking up any. With the score now 108 versus 90.
Foxy Dicer is up again for the C-Gulls, facing off against... I'm not seeing the number yet, Helter Skelter. The jam is on, Helter Skelter on the outside, making a quick run for it, being downed, while Foxy Dicer gets out of the pack in front of Helter Skelter, who did pick up the lead status. And we have a 0-0 jam.
Toch proberen.
Frestegada.
And we have Frestegada lining up, but the C-Gulls deciding to take a team timeout. A team timeout with 20 minutes left on the clock. So we have 2/3 of this half left. With 18 point ahead, the Sea-Gulls decide to take a team timeout. It's going to be their second team timeout for this game. You are eligible for 3. So it's important that you plan them wisely.
In the meantime, I would like to give a shout out to all the volunteers that we are having here today. Unfortunately, we do not have a correct list because there were quite a few altercations to the people who were going to be playing in, like roughing in what game or doing NSOing in what game. So it's just a random shout out to all the NSOs helping out here right now and all the referees roughing for this game. In the meantime, the timeout has come to an end, and when we can see that they're lining up for the next jam. Unfortunately, I have a referee in front of me, so I cannot see the number yet who is jamming for the C-Gulls and going to be facing off against Frestegada. It is Toos jamming. It is
Staat op mijn scherm,
Toos.
staat het.
Toos is pushing the blockers of La Flotte to the front, really pushing them, trying to work it out, and picks up that lead status, while Vrijtagara is down in the first corner and being helped out now by the blockers to try and get past, which they have to abandon to be in the wall again to try and stop Toes from scoring points, which is unsuccessful, and Toes picked up 4 points for this scoring pass. Vrijtagara is still working on it, spots him outside, is being downed by one of the blockers for the C-Gulls, and has to go again. It was found them giving a hit to Vrijtagara and making sure they got stuck in the pack again. Vrijtagara is trying to spot that opportunity, getting help from one of her many blockers, which is number 171, Panic Attack, trying to get through. And that jam is being called. Getting 8 points for the C-Gulls on the board and 0 points for La Flotte.
With 19 minutes left on the clock, the C-Gulls are ahead with 26 points. Lining up, we have Rebecca from Gordon, and Rebecca will be facing off MB Violent. And with both jammers struggling to get through those walls. We have in front, we have MB Violent managing to pass the Rotterdam blockers and picking up lead jammer status. Going into the first scoring pass around the outside, picking up 4 points and quickly calling it off before the C-Gulls can score any points.
For the upcoming jam, the C-Gulls have a slight disadvantage with 2 blockers in the box, of which one is their pivot, meaning they only have 2 blockers on track. So this could be an opportunity for La Flotte to try and gain that lead status quicker than the jammer for C-Gulls. It is Foxy Dicer facing off against Helter Skelter. Foxy is fighting for it and actually gets out in front of Helter Skelter, who is following right behind, about a third to half a track away, going for that scoring pass. There they go. Foxy picks up points while making sure that, unfortunately, Helter Skater does not get any points during this jam, although it could have been to their advantage.
With 2 blockers, still 2 blockers for the C-Gulls in the penalty box. Again, it's going to be a start with only 2 C-Gulls blockers on track. And we are going into an official timeout at the moment. While we have lining up on the line Toes versus Flash McQueen.
And if we accidentally mispronounce the names, we're very sorry. Sometimes derby names can be quite tough to pronounce as intended. So we're doing the best we can here today.
With some instructions from the bench. Players are waiting until we can continue the game.
Our head referee our jam ref goes back to La Flotte to communicate a few things. So hopefully this clears up the things that need to be cleared up and the game can continue. There are 16 minutes and 55 seconds left in this half of the game, so we're nearly about the half point of the second half. But there's still loads of opportunity for both teams to try and win this game.
and after the rolling whistle, we have now also a jump start, and quickly lead is being picked up by Foxy Dizer. Foxy Dizer quickly going around, and we have a really full penalty box. We actually have 3 blockers from La Flotte in the penalty box. Foxy Dizer taking full advantage of the fact that there's only 1 blocker of La Flotte on track. Quickly racking up those scores. In the meantime, we have Flash Maguire in the stuck behind the C-Gulls wall. And after a small low pack scenario, we have the La Flotte jammer also out of the pack. And we have a call off with 12 points scored by the C-Gulls. And we are going into the next jam, and we are going to start off with an empty penalty box.
It is Toast facing off Fresh Tagada, and the La Flotte blockers are now taking the front of the pack. However, the C-Gulls are alternating it and sitting on that tripod of La Flotte to try to press them all together. However, Fresh Tagada is making work of getting out of that pack as quickly as possible, while Toast is being stuck at the blockers from La Flotte, taking off the star to see if a star pass would be a good opportunity to get that initial. However, the helmet cover is being dropped on the floor, and they have to redo it again, while Fresh Tagada is getting through on the scoring pass, putting the first 4 points of this jam on the board in favor of La Flotte. The pivot has taken the star for the C-Gulls, which is number 90 from Dom, and they are now the jammer, and they have to make it through the pack. Still not in position to score any points. Fresh Tagada is working that wall right now of the blockers for the C-Gulls, but number 263, the Surge, number 50, Gold Hornet, and number 808, Juicy Instrumental, were definitely giving a hard time to the jammer. So they did not score any other points, and they got 8 points for this jam, making the score difference 30 points in total.
And with Helter Skater facing off Rebecca Van Gordon, we are going into the next jam with La Flotte, having broken the 100 points with 102 points on the board versus 132 for the C-Gulls. Helter quickly picking up lead jammer status, followed by the C-Gulls jammer.
The teams are both
C-Gulls lining up at the back. Helter trying to take as much points as possible before calling off, managing to take home 1 point and without giving any away for the C-Gulls.
In the upcoming jam is Foxy Dizer facing off Andy Violent. The teams are starting at the pivot line, however they decide to go back full on the jammer line and sit on those jammers as much as possible, making it a difficult time to get through that pack because it's very tightly knit together. However, Foxy Dizer is really working it and pushing on that pack, unfortunately being outed by number 666, Fred and Furious, giving away to be recycled. In the meantime, their enemy violence thought they could get out, made it after a hit for number 90 from Long, going back on a scoring pass, and they're really again working on it, trying to get past, getting those points for their teams, and it is NB Violent that makes it out and puts the first points on the board, while now Van Dam is taking over the star and trying to go for points for the C-Gulls.
Which also means we do not have a lead jammer. So with both jammers not eligible for lead jammer, we are going to have a 2-minute jam.
It's a 2-minute jam and they're gonna have to fight for it. MB Violent is on another scoring pass, makes it through. However, Van Dam is now closing up as well, sees that opportunity of not having a fixed tripod, is being held for a while by number 11 Mandale, but too little to actually make that work. However, with the points racking up for this jam on both ends, it is still La Flotte that has the favor for the most points at the moment because they're making it hard on each other. Van Dam is being is being tried to be pushed out by 1-1 Mandale. It was unsuccessful and Mandale is sent to the penalty box. And just after that, the jam ends with an 8-18 unofficial until now score point. And La Flotte is again closing that gap in points.
And we are starting off with the C-Gulls jammer in the penalty box. Van Dam will start from the penalty box as a jammer.
Which means power jam for
Which
La
means
Flotte.
a power jam starts. And we are quickly going into an official timeout.
There are some things that need to be sorted, apparently, and there is a small timeout to rectify some things. I can see that Van Dam is on the board as the C-Gulls jammer. The jammer for La Flotte is not on it yet, but it's Gada that is going to be facing off. And having that power jam start. The rolling whistle sounded, so this means well, apparently not. We have still a official timeout, so the players can just hang and relax on that track for a little bit. They do seem to be just in their position, waiting it out, keeping stuck to where they are at, and going like, this is our tactic and we're going to stick with it. La Flotte is discussing things amongst themselves in the time that they are given right now. To maybe alter or come up with a strategy or how they want to do this power jam start.
They are going to have a power jam start with one blocker less on track. So it's going to be 3 blockers facing off against 4 for the C-Gulls. But still, they are going to try to take as much advantage as they can get from this power jam start. And now we see a very old-fashioned tactic for the C-Gulls, a 4-ball, a flat 4-ball. I haven't seen that one in a really long time. But I don't think they're going to keep it that way. Well, let's see.
The flat 4-ball is sort of making a sort of comeback. You see it slightly more often again, also in higher levels of roller derby. However, it doesn't always stay that way.
Yeah.
And in this case, it doesn't. And they change it up, try to get to recycle Fresh Negada back as much as possible and giving time to their own jammer to get back from that penalty box. Fresh Negada is working it, getting help from their own blockers. However, 2 people are being downed and there is some unclarity on the track. However, they keep on going. Van Dam is out of the penalty box, seeing an opportunity to go into that wall of La Flotte. However, Fresh Negada spots an opening, gets that lead status with Van Dam following close behind, and they're going to have to fight it out. Fresh Negada is not in favor of fighting it out and decides to call it off before Van Dam gets more speed and makes it to that pack for scoring points. So a 0-0 jam.
And with 9 minutes left on the clock, we are going into the next jam with Helter Skater lining up against Toos. Helter Skater going, trying the inside, not managing to push through, and on the outside actually manages to go and picks up lead jammer status. And with the C-Gulls quickly switching to offense, trying to get Toes out. Toes still stuck behind that tripod, and Helter Skater picking up 4 points.
And La Flotte is really trying to recycle that jammer back to their wall, despite of the offense that the C-Gulls are giving their jammer, making it really hard. And Helter Skelter is on the second scoring pass.
Yes. In the meantime, Toes is still struggling with that 3 wall. With number 50 trying Gold Hornet. Trying to help out Toes as much as possible, but they are making a very sturdy tripod.
Helter Skelter is working on restoring some more points and gets it out of the pack after a tough fight. Going for 8 points right now, coming up to try and get more points, while Toes is still stuck behind La Flotte's very strong wall, with only a few seconds on the clock to go.
With Helter pass on the outside, picking up another 4 points.
Toes taking off that helmet cover, see if they can get past while doing that, or maybe with some help of their pivot, and it is a star pass, which get the C-Gulls out of it. The star was passed to number 263, the Surge, and after that the jam is being called, giving 15 points to La Flotte and closing that gap again.
Yes, with a score difference of only 8 points and 6.5 minutes left on the clock, still anything can happen. So this going to be a really interesting final of this game. Meanwhile, we have Foxy Deezer lining up against MB Violent. Foxy Deezer punching through, picking up lead jammer status, quickly going around, closely followed like half a length by MB Violent.
Foxy hitting that pack, smashing through it like it's nothing, while MB violently throws her hips into some of the blockers, trying to score some points.
And let's see if how successful that is. 4 points picked up by the C-Gulls, and we have 2 points.
For
La Flotte.
La Flotte.
Yeah.
That's a very good sneaky tactic to get some more points.
Yes, it
the
is.
score difference now is only 10 points, making this a very tight-knit game throughout, and still anything can happen in those last 5.5 minutes that we have on the clock. It looks like a small timeout is being called.
The track ninjas taking advantage of this timeout
To repair the
the track.
keep the safety of the players guaranteed, that they do not stumble over the rope that is underneath that tape, which makes sure that the skaters can actually feel if they are out of bounds or inbounds during the game.
We have a small zebra huddle.
With some non-skating officials
Yep.
standing there as well, trying to make sure that all the information of this game is running smoothly. Yeah, it is an exciting game so
Yep.
far.
With a
very
few
fun to
seconds
watch.
left on this timeout, we have the rolling whistle. So we're going into 30 seconds for the next jam, and the next jam we have lining up for 1-3-1-3.
Fresh Segada and
Rebecca.
Gorgon.
Yeah.
Rebecca from Gorgon. The Sea-Gulls are opting to start at the pivot line, rolling back on that 5-second mark, and La Flotte Flotte is trying to keep their position on the blockers. One of them really spotted what Rebecca was up to, unable to keep Rebecca van Gordon from actually getting out of that pack quickly. Fresh Tegada is hot on it to try and make sure that the time of scoring points for Rebecca van Gordon is as limited as possible. Rebecca makes it through, and Fresh Tegada is actually able to sneak 2 points.
With the lead of the C-Gulls slowly opening a little bit, it's still with 12 points on the board. Still anything can happen. Next we have Helter Skater and facing off Foxy Deezer.
Jam is on and they're off.
And quickly
It's
on the
Helter.
inside, Helter picking up lead jammer status for La Flotte. Again, closely followed by Foxy Deezer. This is a situation we have seen a lot of times before in the last couple of jams. Both jammers coming out of the pack who were only like half a track length apart from each other. And at this point, both of them are not able to pick up any points. Which keeps the score with 0-0 scored 152 for the C-Gulls and 140 for La Flotte.
There was some actually nice bridging going on just now. Into this jam, it is Envy Violent spotting an opening, running through it and picking up lead status, while Rebecca van Gordon was struggling a bit longer to get out and is about 3/4 of a track behind, going into that scoring pass. It is up to Envy Violent to try and get those points. It's 2 points for Envy Violent for this jam and 0 points for Rebecca, making sure that they sneak up again with 2 points to a 10-point score difference. It is still anybody game, and with these 3 minutes left on the clock.
We have Foxy Deezer again. Foxy Deezer on track, facing off Fresh Tegada. And we're on for the next jam. A lot of short jams. Again, we have a really quick lead jammer status being picked up by Foxy Deezer.
Quick option as well. A change of passing the star on La Flotte. There was a very quick change of hands. Who is actually their jammer? And it is now Mellow Disco being the jammy.
And Foxy Deezer sent to the penalty box, which means that it's going to be a 2-minute jam. And again, another blocker for the C-Gulls is being sent to the penalty box. But still, La Flotte is struggling to get get their jammer out of the pack. Melo Disco now being the jammer after having picked up the jammer cover. Struggling with that C-Gulls tripod, even though
Foxy is back on track and going for trying to score points, being pushed out of the track by Barbecue and having a tripod quite sturdy. Foxy goes down, however Barbecue was forced out as well, having to set up the tripod all new again. Both are now out of the pack and onto scoring points. Mellow Disco is trying to stay in front of Foxy Deezer, but doesn't make it, is out of bounds, and they both now have to try and get those points in 20 seconds for this jam left. It is Foxy that makes it out first and
we have
scores
Mellow
4
Disco
points.
struggling with the helmet cover. Which is very important, because if you do not have the helmet cover on your helmet, you are not able to score any points. So the helmet cover is now on.
More points are scored by Foxy, and ending this jam on the 2-minute mark. La Flotte has gained 3 points versus 12 points for the C-Gulls. And it looks like we are going to the last jam of this game with 30 seconds left on this clock and a score of 164 against 145, still in favor of the C-Gulls.
And for this jam, we
is
have
on.
again Rebecca. Rebecca is facing off Andy Violent. Rebecca Van Gordon picking up lead jammer status, closely followed by Andy Violent. We have a jammer race, and
Rebecca
very
getting a nasty
yes.
hit from number 666, Fat and Furious.
But
Not
Rebecca-
pulling it off.
But Rebecca also keeping a close eye on the clock, making sure that Rebecca called it off only after the game time expired, which makes us go to the unofficial score. And we have a final score. We have a final score of 164 versus 145 in favor of the C-Gulls. Give it up for the C-Gulls.
However, La Flotte made it a really hard team on the game on the C-Gulls. So give it up for La Flotte as well.
For both teams, we have seen kudos for a great game. To support your team, please come down and line up next to the track so you can high five both teams. Both teams have played some great derby, a very close game, numerous lead changes, and
Great blocking.